Finally, after looking for, I want to say 8-9 months, I finally bought property. We're going to break down this deal, which I'm really excited about. It's a triplex that is located in Florida, and I'm actually going to go see it today. As to, obviously I've seen the property, I've been there multiple times, but today I'm actually going to go meet the tenants and everything like that. A big project. It's very interesting because it's my first ever actually dealing with physically and with real estate. When you do wholesaling, you always flip paper, and this one is not like that. It's actually me dealing with this real estate and dealing with tenants and stuff like that. So I'm very excited for this video. I'm also excited to have you guys back into the series. We've came a long way. All the way from not knowing what I'm gonna do to owning a triplex in a very nice neighborhood in Florida, which I'm really excited for. It's going to be a lot of exciting stuff going on. I'm actually going to start a new series of me turning part of the property into an Airbnb project. I have zero clue how to do Airbnbs. So not only I'm gonna have to remodel certain things, I'm gonna have to figure out how Airbnb works, etc. So you guys will be able to follow this in the series. So subscribe to the channel if you're not, to follow how to figure it out. I literally know nothing about Airbnb, zero. I mean, I know what it is, how it works. I've stayed in Airbnbs myself, and I kind of get the gist of it, but I don't know how to apply, how to make sure that your property is fittable for it. I'm gonna have to remodel. I barely know how to remodel. I've never done anything around the house much when it comes to fixing stuff and fixing up stuff. It's actually a very exciting period of time for my YouTube channel, so I think you don't want to miss it. It's gonna be pretty cool. It's a very exciting time. So you subscribe to the channel and like this video. But we're about to jump into this video. We're gonna go check out the property, and then after that I'm gonna run some numbers and explain to you guys why this property was a good property to buy. All right guys, so it's the middle of the day and I'm headed to the property. Very excited, to be honest with you. A little nervous. The reason why I'm a little nervous is because I'm going to be acting as a landlord and doing everything like that, etc. And I'm a little nervous because I've never dealt with tenants before. I don't know what it feels like, more of a, I'm young, I'm 25 years old. Not having ever to do that, it's my first time. So I guess I'm excited, but also nervous. We'll see how it goes. The situation with this property is very interesting, is that there's actually a tenant living there, one of the units with the housing. There's other 2 units, and one of them I'm going to be moving in myself. And that's when I'm going to be working on the Airbnb, which I'm really excited for. When I move into the unit, obviously I have to have the other tenant that lives there now to move out. And it's not a tenant, it's actually just the seller's friend, well, the previous owner's friend that lived there. And now we're just gonna go and check it out and just explain to him that he has to move out by a certain date, and just see how it goes. I mean, it is a little nerve-wracking. It's exciting to meet everyone. I was like thinking about things that I've never thought about before, just like, oh, what phone number do I give him? Do I give him my business cell phone, or do I give him my personal? Probably not going to give him my personal, probably gonna have to give him my business cell, just because I feel like that just makes more sense. It's exciting, I've been working to find this property for how long? Well, like I said, probably about 8-9 months, and it's been such a long journey. It's been pretty difficult. We came close to buying a couple properties before, but not close to like this, and this has actually worked out. And it's kind of weird because right now is the time when I see a lot of wholesalers or real estate people in general, not even wholesalers, talk about that this is the time where, not the time to buy, because the real estate market is going to stop, because at the recording of this video, the mortgage rates are going up, everything is going up, so that the prices of the houses are expected to decline. However, there's a reason why we bought this house, and the reason why it was a very strategic purchase, and that will be breaking down later after we take a look at the property and stuff like that. And I'll sit down in front of a computer, crunch the numbers up for you guys, so you can see why this was a good purchase and why this made sense. Not only from the cash flow perspective, which it makes sense from a cash flow perspective when it's fully rented at the market rent, but also makes sense at an appreciation perspective, because I know a lot of investors have told me before, don't buy for appreciation because that's kind of like gambling. Buy for cash flow. But in this situation, appreciation just makes sense. It's a really good city to own to go to a good town, to own a property in Florida. It's literally 5 minutes away from the beach. It is absolutely beautiful location. They're doing a tons of developments, and that's when you look at it and you think like, okay, this property will be worth more. Everything around is developing. Why wouldn't this property be worth more eventually? And I know I'm very confident that it will. So I believe that my family made a really good purchase. I've worked myself personally on this property for quite some time trying to figure it out. So even though I wasn't the one buying it, I pretty much went through everything, the mortgage paperwork with my family, this and this and this. So I did everything for them or with them. So I've learned a lot throughout this process, how everything works, and I'm excited to learn even more. So now it's beautiful weather. It's 88 degrees in Florida. So I'm gonna drive out to the property, meet the tenants, and let's just see how it goes. Alright guys, so let's break down this deal a little bit. It's been a minute since I've been in this whiteboard, so I apologize for the lights. It may not be the best to see, but if you guys have any questions about the things I'm writing on the board, just leave it in the comment down below and I'll make sure to answer those questions. So when you're approaching a multifamily property, or you're approaching an investment property in general, I guess it could be single family as well, you're approaching from 2 points. So first of all, you're gonna approach it if it's something you're gonna be buying and holding and you're not gonna be flipping it. So you're gonna approach it from the point of cash flow and point of appreciation. So let's talk about this property that I purchased with the cash flow point. So you're gonna see that the currents are gonna be much different from what I'm expecting to be in the future. And there's a reason why I bought this property. So let's talk with cash flow. At the moment, one of the tenants is living in housing, and the previous owner was actually the father of the tenant. So they agreed on a very low rent, etc., everything like that. So the rent is currently very, very low. So the first tenant is paying $1,100. That is for a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom in that area, which is unheard of. No one is paying that price. No one is paying less than $2,000 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in that area. So $1,100 for 2-bed, 1-bath. Then that tenant's mother-in-law is renting the other unit and she's paying $700. So again, super low for 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. That's incredibly low for 1-bedroom. Their 1-bedroom there goes for about $1,400. I live in an apartment myself at the moment before I moved to that property, and it's actually, I'm paying $1,400 right now, and I'm so far away from the water comparing to where that's gonna be literally 5 minutes away from the water. So $700 rent, unheard of, but that's just what they had. And I agreed, I made my promise to the seller, and that's the only way we were able to get this property, because we paid for the property $495,000, and we're gonna approach that in the appreciation point. So somebody was offering $525 and more for the property, but the reason why we were able to get it for $495 is because I agreed to keep the tenants there, especially not the contract tenant, because that tenant I could have had him move out. But it's the tenant that's currently she's not under contract or anything like that. She's just paying to the previous landlord. She was paying to the previous landlord. So I'm gonna put it under contract for the month to month for $700 until the other tenant moves out, which should be November 1st. So currently there's 2 units rented. The 3rd unit is rented as well, but he's actually going to be moving out by June 15th is when I'm gonna be moving into that property. So the current rent is that, plus it's going to be me. Now I'm gonna put me because I'm gonna be paying the rest of the rent or whatever mortgage payment there's gonna be. So
this is the cash flow, this is the positive cash flow. It actually takes $3,000 a month to own this property, because for mortgage, the insurance and the taxes, total comes down to $3,000 a month. And I'm not even including the maintenance or anything like that, right? Which you should include when you're analyzing the investment deals. But at the moment, it's $3,000 a month. So if you look at that, I would be paying $1,200 out of pocket to live in this property, which is about the same, maybe a little less than what I'm paying at rent right now. So for me, it doesn't really matter. For my family, it makes sense. And there's this why it makes sense, because I'm gonna talk about the future rent. And this is where a lot of you guys will have to look, especially in the market we are right now, especially if you're in a place like Florida. Florida is one of the most growing states in the country, and it's gonna keep growing. You know, I believe that Florida will not be really affected by the bubble or the housing bubble that everyone talks about nowadays. So I believe that's not really gonna affect Florida. So we're going to talk about the future rent, and here's what I see. I'm talking about currently, if I would rent the place, this is not even 6 months down the road. Right now, this is what I would get for the units. I would get $1,400 and another $1,400 for the 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom units. And there's 2 of those, right? So the 2 up top. And then $1,800 for the 2 bed, 1 bath unit. And I'm talking on the lower end. Like I said, you cannot find a place right there less than $2,000 for 2 bedroom, 1 bath. But the property is a little older, you know, maybe I won't update it as much, whatever it is. So I'm just playing on the lower end. If I get more, it's great. I totally dropped my marker, but we're gonna get back to it. So that's total of $4,600. Okay, so you look at a $4,600 cash flow. Okay, and the cost still stays the same. It's $3,000. So at this point, the property should be profiting $1,600. Okay, so that's great. The reason why this is great is because while I'm living at the property, if you take away that $1,400, the property should still be positive $200, which could be saved and used towards the little repairs that need to be done around the property. So that's really good. So while I'll be living in the property, I'll be house hacking the property until I move out. But there's gonna be more to it. I actually have really cool plans for the property that I'm gonna get to, and we're gonna get to that in appreciation part. So like I said, the property was purchased for $495,000. So you got $495,000. Okay, so it was purchased right at the appraised value. So a lot of investors would stray away for something like this, because it's not like you have a lot of room. When you're purchasing the property, you're not really gaining too much equity at the particular moment. However, there are a couple things that are very, very important about this property, what I saw, and why this made a lot of sense. So from appreciation standpoint, first of all, right now it's valued at $500,000. Just the way it is, so without doing anything. So that's great. Okay, so you know, at least I'm not on water, you know, underwaters in my appreciation value, whatever it is. And we know that a lot of properties on the market are selling from overappreciated value. So if this was on the market, I have very confidence they would go for $575,000 or $600,000. But forget about that. We're talking about realistic appreciation, value of the property. What I did is that there is a shop in the back of the property. Shop in the back of the property that has some utilities, but not all, that could be turned into a living space. It cannot be turned into a separate unit. The city will not allow it to be a separate unit. However, it can be added as an additional, office space to the property. As we all know, office space could be, you know, you could have a bed or bath or whatever in your office. So that's the idea. So we're gonna turn that into an office space, and I'm gonna rent that in Airbnb. And that's gonna be rented not as a separate unit, but as a separate bedroom on Airbnb. This will actually eventually go towards a cash flow, but it's more of a, you know, projected, something that I'm really hoping is gonna work out. If that does work out, by the way, we're looking that Airbnb should bring at least $1,000 a month. And the reason why I'm saying so low, normally Airbnbs bring much more than that. The reason why I say $1,000 a month, because it is going to be a 200 square foot place that's just going to have a small kitchenette, bathroom, and the bedroom, and a bed, and that's it. So $1,100 a month, $1,000 a month will bring the cash flow to almost $2,600, which will put this property in a very, very good position. So I believe making that Airbnb is going to be super drastic. Like, that's going to be so important for this property that I'm going to really take care of that. What it's going to do to the appreciation or to the appraised value. So 200 square foot added of living space to this property will put this property an extra $70,000 of potential value of the property with the price per square foot the way we bought it. And this is me thinking that the price is not going to appreciate at all, right? So this is like just the way it is right now. If that was turned into a living space, that would add $70,000 to the value of the property. The cool part is I don't really have to build or do anything much besides like bringing water into the property and just establishing everything else. So I think it could be done within $15,000 to $20,000. Like I said, it's only 200 square foot, so it's not gonna cost that much money. So that would add, let's say if you spend $20,000, but you added $70,000 value to your property, you just made $50,000 in value of the property. So you're doing very well. So you added $70,000 to value there. That's just for me forcing the value of the property. Another way to be forced the value of the property is by showing the cash flow. When I will be able to show the cash flow, I can say that this property is worth more than you think. And a lot of times that will work. You know, a lot of times some appraisers will take in consideration that there's a good rent coming in from the property, which raises the value of the property as well. Another thing is for future appreciation is that there's actually a bunch of developments going on around the property. There's been condos that were built right next to the property that are being sold for over $600,000 at the moment. A 3-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom condos or townhouses are being sold for $600,000. Then you got a bunch of other developments going on. They actually just doing a 2 blocks away from the property. They put $30 million to make a luxury restaurants, luxury stores, luxury condos. They're gonna make a $30 million development also down the road from me, which all that adds up to the property values. So, and that's very, very exciting for me. You know, there's so much going on around the property. So I do believe this property will appreciate in value. In 2-3 years, it's gonna be $800,000 or more with no problem at all. I believe the land value in a year will be more than the property is worth right now with the house on it. I do believe that. So I guess we'll see. Also, another thing is that this property is on the main road, quote unquote. So it could actually be zoned commercial as well. So I can rent to commercial people, which would be very, very, very lucrative thing to do because commercial offices will pay more for rent. So I could turn the first floor into commercial space and the second to the 2 1-bedroom places on top, still leave them as a residential. So that's just an option, but that's just something that could potentially happen as well. My projected appreciation, so just with me adding, it's gonna be $570,000. In a year, I believe this property will be worth $650,000 or more. $650,000 or more after me doing the additional thing, because the way that development is going so quick, I do believe we'll be able to gain so much equity in the property. So from this perspective, you know, invested $500,000 into a property and then another $20,000 to remodel the extra shop to make it living space. This property will after $520,000 investment, you'll have $130,000 in equity on the property on top of whatever we put in as a down payment. So I believe this is a great deal. And I'm not looking to hold this property just for a year. We're looking to hold this property for longer, if it makes sense, obviously. But the potential here is great. It's a great area. I mean, I'm gonna be excited to live there myself. It is literally 5 minutes away from the water, which is really cool. I'm hoping to have a jet ski, but that's the fun part. All of this really makes sense. When you look at the current, you're like, it's not that great of a deal. It really isn't. If you just look at the current, it doesn't make sense. But that's the difference about real estate. You really have to look in the future and try to project the future, even though we cannot predict it, but we want to project it as much as we can. And this is exactly what I'm doing on this deal. And this is what I did in this deal. That's why we bought it. I've been working on this project for almost 6 months now. You know, my VA found it. It's been work in progress. The seller was negotiating. We started negotiating at $450,000. Then they got more offers. he wouldn't want to just sign. And at one point we had to push to all the way to 495,000, and now we are 495 the purchase price, and right under the appraised value. And while other people were still willing to pay $525,000 cash, and that's not a wholesaler was gonna pay that. The person that developed the condos next to him, that's the person that wanted to pay $525,000 cash. So that's really cool to know that there's already potential buyers if I ever needed to sell, which I don't think I will, not anytime soon, but you never know. It's always good to have a backup option. So yeah, guys, I'm very, very excited. This is my first ever property bought. After a year and 9 months of doing wholesaling, finally been able to allocate my family's funds to a property that is very, very good, and I absolutely love it. I've been looking for a multifamily property for probably 10 months. And it's just never worked out. You know, I went to a couple properties, looked at it. It's never like there was certain things that didn't work out. And I'm so glad this one did. I believe it's a great property, very good potential. But as of right now, guys, that's everything that's going on. I mean, this is a big project. It's taken a lot of my time. It did take a lot of my time to finalize this, and I'm so happy we're here. I was happy to share it with you guys. Leave in the comments down below if you have any questions about this deal, or in general how I found it, or anything like that. So leave in the comments down below. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video. And as always, guys, peace.